there, my name is Al Beatty. The purpose of today's video is to introduce you to the Dan Vise. You probably have one somewhere close around if you're reviewing this video. Here it is, all set up, ready to go, the way it would come to you in the package. You would also receive in the package this little device right here. It's kind of a angular piece of Delrin. It's used in holding the jaws. The one that comes with the vise is set up for right-handed use. This one is for left-handed use. Or you can set it up like, let me get one here and I'll show you real quick. Or you can use it to turn the jaws around so that they're no longer true rotary, but that you can tie like midge patterns or whatever in a stationary way. And it can either be right or left-handed that way. So you can use that spare piece for tying as a stationary rotational vise. Set it up as I have over here on another one. I have it set up for left-handed, where, as you can see, on the left-handed one you swing the cam lever towards you to close it, and then you close by moving to the center. You do the same thing with the right-handed one. You swing the cam lever towards you, you swing it to the center to close. So this is set up left-handed, this one's set up right-handed. So that's what that other little angular device is that you'll find in the box. So you may have a use for it and you may not. But let's take a tour around this vise, starting here at the jaws, and we're going to talk about them in more detail later, but for right now we're just going to talk about the adjustment process. We'll get down to adjusting it for a hook in a moment. This is how we adjust the width of the jaws themselves, the screw that's on the opposite side from the tire. This adjustment right here, you loosen it up and you can move the jaws back and forth within the angular device, the jaw holding device, and this is used for adjusting the axis for larger and smaller hooks, as is the one on top that allows this to slide back and forth. By sliding this back and forth and also sliding the jaw itself back and forth, you can accommodate hooks from 32 to 9/0. So it'll take a full range of sizes. As I said, we'll go through the adjustment process here in a moment. Now as we travel around this vise, we come to this right here. It's called the coulet. And the ball bearings are inside of that allow the vise to rotate within that coulet. Just like this. I've got this adjusted so that I can rotate it easily, but the jaws will stay wherever I stop the vise. You can, by rotating this unit here and holding this complete unit here, rotating in a counterclockwise direction, it becomes very loose. It will flop around, it rotates very, very easily on the ball bearings on the inside of the coulet, but it also flops around. Some tires like to tie this way. I personally do not, so I'll grab these two units right here and I'll hold the retaining, or the jaw device and turn the tension so that it's now tighter and will stay in position as I rotate. If I don't want it to rotate at all, again, I grab the jaw assembly and these two units right here, the two little wheels, and tighten them up. And now it's going nowhere. The jaw on that is completely stationary. So let me loosen it back up to where I would normally use it. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm going to travel down the stem, and the first thing that I come to is this unit right here. It moves back and forth. It's the arm that holds the bobbin rest. All vices come with this unit, and it can be used as a bobbin rest, but it can also be used as a gallows for a parachute, or you can rotate it around like this and use it for an extended body tool. So there's some other things that you can do with it, but that's just a couple of tips of some things that you can do. For right now, though, I'm going to move this back out of my way. Get this out of here because I want to talk about this spring. And it comes in two configurations when it comes to you. It comes like the one on my left, your right, and the one that's slightly lower, it's on my right and your left. Anyway, this is a material keeper. And this is also a material keeper. It's just one of two styles that we send out. The first one is nothing more than a long spring. To install it, you cut it in half with a pair of pliers and then take a loop of spring and loop it to the other loop of spring. Thusly, it goes through this hole and around the jaw assembly, and that's how you attach your material keeper. Set the other piece aside in case you want to have a material keeper, or you lose a material keeper, it wears out, whatever, you'll have a spare. Now, not all the vices come with that. Let me put this back on the bobbin rest. Set that aside. Here's one that comes with a pre-made material keeper. It already has the loops on either end. It also comes stored on the bobbin rest. All you got to do is take it off and install it through the jaw assembly and through the hole at the back of the jaw assembly. When we go to adjusting the jaws and putting a hook in the vise, which we'll do in a moment, take note that there is one of those that is already installed on the vise that we'll be doing that function with. Okay, traveling on down the stem, we come to the tightening knob that tightens the stem within the jaw, within the C-clamp itself. It just spins around. Inside of that, you will find this little cone-shaped device that has a split. And it's that tightening of that split, this pushing against the cone down inside of the C-clamp itself, that tightens the stem within the C-clamp. Also, this is where you adjust your vise for height. Just set it where you want it, and then when you tighten the knurled knob, it puts it into position and tightens it. Now let's get to the C-clamp, because there's a couple of configurations you'll see in the C-clamp. I have two here. On my left, I have one with grommets, and on my right, I have one with a plastic device between the jaws. Let's take a look at that one first. First off, you tighten and loosen the jaws with this knurled nut right here. That allows space for the jaws to open. And you'll find a device that's in between. This is the table protector. In this particular unit, the table protector is positioned over these little nipples right here. There's one here, and then you'll find the same thing on the bottom jaw of the C-clamp. Those keep you from putting this too far onto the table. It also, with the holes in the table protector, keeps the table protector from slipping around. But it's important that you have those all lined up when you install it, as I'm going to do right now, on the table. I'll just kind of slip it into position, make sure that those little nipples are tied up against the back part of the table. Then I'll tighten up the tightening nut, and the C-clamp is installed. On the flip side, you could also find in your box one that doesn't have that kind of a table protector, but instead has 4 rubber grommets installed. There's one here, 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 and here. Those 4 rubber grommets are less likely to slip, so when you tighten this against the table, they will protect the table. They also have the little nipples that keep you from sliding the jaws of the C-clamp too far onto the table. Let me just kind of install that one, get that out of our way for a moment. And we need to talk about one of the more important things, the jaw adjustment. Because the jaws in relation to the cam is a 10-to-1 ratio, it's critically important that you get a good adjustment on the distance between those jaws when you close the cam. All other cam operated jaw vices on the market are usually about a 2.5-to-1, where this is 10. So that adjustment is critical. The distance between the jaws is adjusted, as we said before, with this. Now I'm going to open the cam. This is the number 10 hook, and just set it in the jaws halfway. At the halfway point, I feel it touch the hook, but the hook is not held into position. The closing of the cam, the last halfway, locks the hook into position. I'll go to a number 1/0 hook, and I'll have to make some adjustment here. Let me just kind of flip it up so I can see what I'm doing. So if I can just slip that in and then turn this just slightly more, Let me test and see if the 1/2 position works. So not quite tight enough, or not quite loose enough. Okay, now that holds it, but it will still move. Finish closing the cam, and that hook is there to stay forever. Now I'll go in totally the other direction from the 1/0 to a size 18. Of course, we're going to have to put those jaws quite a bit closer together. Let me just get them worked down here so that that 18 will kind of fit in there. Now let me get to the halfway position. It's a little too tight. I'll loosen it up just slightly. Slip that number 18 in there. It's still too tight. A little bit more. Slip the 18 in. Okay, it goes halfway. I finish closing the cam. And there it is. The jaws are adjusted. We'll just take that hook out of the jaws. Well, there you have it. An introduction to the Dan Vise. It's a superb tool. Don't forget that you have that spare piece for turning it into left hand. Enjoy your vise. Good time.